Welcome to the Our Day Off podcast here at King of the Hammers 2026. We got Mr. Alex Reed, CT Raceworks. If anybody knows and has been following the social medias here lately for King of the Hammers, Alex Reed owns CT Raceworks, and he has come up with a really cool deal for racers and people in the industry to be able to be part of CT Raceworks. And we have an Our Day Off discount code for CT Raceworks. Go on to the website, order all your stuff, get 5% discount. Alex Reed.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's
right. I can't thank you enough for that opportunity.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And was this just something you came up with recently, or you've been kind of developing it over time?
Yeah, I've been working on it for a little bit, but man, there's a lot going on all the time.
There is a lot going on all the time. I'm always following your guys' stuff at the shop, and I got some friends at your shop, and I don't want to just name everybody's name because I want them to come on. I want them to come on and tell their story.
Yeah.
But you got some bad dudes, and you guys build some really killer parts. I mean, everybody knows Kyle Chaney, obviously the king here at King of the Hammers.
Yep.
He's going to go out to defend his title this week, and he's got Thursday and Friday race day. And you're actually co-doming with him on Thursday.
Yep. For the UTV race. Yep.
Yeah. So what's the plan there?
Try to get up front, get some clean air, and stay out there.
You just gonna kind of let Kyle do his thing, or is he gonna rely on you? How much does he rely on you for navigation?
In the desert, in the high speed stuff, it's probably going to be quite a bit. Once we get into the rock sections, like when he's in a canyon and whatever on a feature, like that's 100% him. If he makes the call to say, hey, jump out, we're going to pull cable and not try to kill the car. That's his call. But whenever it comes to the desert, all the high speed stuff, that's going to be me calling most everything. We've pre-ran a lot, both directions for desert race, and then reversed order for 4900. So we have some good lines through there, and I think we'll keep everything really clean. And I think it'll be good. But yeah, there's a lot to do. A lot of you miss a call at 100 mile an hour going into a 90 left,
it's a bad day.
You can have problems. Yeah.
It's a bad day. And yeah. I mean, we watched some trophy trucks. I think the Herps guys had a really bad toss, and they ended up just tumbling it through the desert. There was some helicopter following them. So it's all on video.
Yeah. Wolves, right?
Yeah. They kind of got crossed up and chopped like that, and it tossed the car sideways, and they just barrel rolled it, and parts flying everywhere. So it happens to the best of the best. I mean, Kyle's had his fair share out here. I mean, there was one year, I think, oh gosh, who was even riding with him? Was it Cash? I think Cash was riding with him at the time when they tossed it in the desert race. When they hit the tuft of dirt, and it just tossed the car sideways and broke something they had to pull off.
Yep.
But even the best, it happens. It will bite you every now and again. Hammers rears its ugly head. So yeah. I've been there.
Yep.
Been there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So, but back to CT Raceworks. Where did that start? How did you start in this? When did you start? And where is it now?
So I started the shop in 2007, and I've said this a million times. I feel like I wear it out, but I'm the guy that started out of his mom's garage. I had some car builds and some restoration work. Like, I'm a big Toyota guy, so my first vehicle was an FJ40. So I'm a big Toyota nut. So I had a couple jobs restoring FJ40s, frame off restorations. I worked at Toyota dealership before that, so like the mechanical background was there. And just kind of got bored working on OEM stuff and wanted to get more into the, tinkering around and
custom fabrication type world.
Yeah. So I started as Carolina Truggies. That's the CT portion of it. And it was all, UTVs weren't a thing back in 2007. I mean, there was like the Rhino and OG Razors, like 800. So the UTV scene didn't really pop into play until about 2013. 2010 was cool. I built a JK for a guy. It was called the Killer Crutch. It went on the cover of Crawl magazine, I think in October of 2010. So makes me feel really old saying that. But and then 2013 got into UTVs. Started with the Maverick, the OG Maverick. I wanted to hit a new brand, like a, Can-Am coming in, didn't really have, they had a Commander, and it wasn't going to be taken seriously in the sports stuff. So knew the Maverick was coming, wanted to get on board with that, wanted to start making parts for it. And that's where I switched from being, not really switched, but went from being like, the custom shop that's just doing fab work to trying to produce and manufacture parts. Did a lot of shock tunes on OG Mavs, Turbo Mavs, and suspension parts and chassis kind of our wheelhouse. So went from just me, and now we're 21 total people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. I got a lot of really good people, and like you said earlier, like everybody says they have the best. Like I'm a firm believer. I have the best.
I
Like,
can confirm.
my dudes are really good. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, we're what it's grown into again, kind of going from a 2-car garage into a bigger building. We've got 7 CNC machines. We have a laser and a press brake from Amada being delivered in about a month, actually probably to the date. So we'll do all of our manufacturing 100% in-house now, and be able to control lead times so much better, being that we aren't going to be starved parts from a supplier. So yeah, I'm excited for that. But yeah, grown up a lot and still got big plans, but I'll keep that a little under wraps.
All right, everybody. I want to give a quick shout out to CT Raceworks. CT Raceworks makes the baddest parts in the industry, including the parts that Kyle Chaney uses to win the 2025 King of the Hammers 4400 race. Now, if you would like to use those same parts, feel free to go over to CT Raceworks and use the Our Day Off discount code, and that will get you a 5% discount on your entire order at any time. So that's Our Day Off discount code upon checkout. Back to the show. Yeah. Hey, you tell us what you want to tell us. This is your show. I have watched you guys in your shop build chassis from the ground up, and I've seen them bare, and I've seen them done in a race car, and Kyle's and all these guys that race your chassis, and they're a work of art, an absolute work of art. Your interior work is top notch. Yeah. I mean, you see some of these even like pro level guys, and you like look in the, you'll pop your head in the cab, and I've noticed this more at PRI than anywhere else, just because you're able to get closer to those vehicles there for some reason and kind of like pick them and check things out.
Yeah.
But I'll go up to like really well-known race cars, and I'm like, this kind of looks questionable, like it doesn't look finished. It doesn't look finished to me.
Yeah, a lot of credit goes to my engineer Ben. Like, he's a badass. He's solid work. Like, he's the SolidWorks wizard. It's kind of mind blowing what he can do. But the input comes from Daniel, Fab Guy, Brad, Fab Guy as well, and myself, and we all kind of round table it and say, hey, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to shift this stuff around, set material thicknesses and designs and everything else like that. So that's how that comes to be. But it's, we've got 13 chassis cars out now.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's a lot. And it's they're involved, obviously.
Sure.
We got to build out. We haven't assembled the last couple ones. We've sent them off to Kyle, Hunter, Cody, and Dustin Robbins, and a handful of people. So we haven't done the assembly on the last 5. But yeah, man, it's a lot. So we have KOH version, boat-sided car, and then we have a desert version. Very similar setups. Desert cars hold more fuel, don't hold a winch. Rock cars obviously hold a little bit less fuel, they hold a winch. Both sides on the rock car, tire placement, for, we try to shove the tire a little bit further back on the desert cars to, try to keep the thing, plated out down in the woods and stuff. So a little bit of weight management stuff, but yeah, man, the chassis cars are a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
It's very cool to see how far they've come. That's what's cool to me is like, and we talked about it with Todd from Evo. He was on too, and kind of the similar story, started from, a small shop and worked his way up, and now, now we're here basically. But it's like the evolution of the side-by-side is wild. And I know there's some argument, and we've talked about it before about like, when is it stop being a side-by-side, because like these guys are building full-on race cars at this point, and it does have a side-by-side motor, transmission, and differentials. And most of the pick points are the same, right? I mean, you're not really changing a whole lot of the pick points, but you are upgrading the chassis. And like, what's this point where you go, it's not a side-by-side anymore? I'm just saying that out loud because it's what people talk about. My personal opinion is if it's got a side-by-side drivetrain and you're not putting it in like a full-blown chassis of a full-size Jeep or a 4400 car, then it's still a side-by-side drive. Like, the drivetrain is what makes it. Now, if you start taking an LS and slopping it in a side-by-side chassis, it's not a side-by-side anymore.
Yeah, I think you have like suspension geometry and pickup points too. If you abandon, like if you have a Mavar and you abandon the Mavar suspension setup, I kind of feel that like that's the point to where it starts to get out. Like, we have the tube chassis stuff. And it runs all catalog parts. It runs catalog lower arms, upper arms, our tall knuckles, trailing arms, radius. They're all catalog parts. So they'll go, you could pull them off of a stock car, put them on a chassis car, vice versa. And I believe that is, that keeps it a side-by-side. But yeah, I think if you build a car from scratch and you abandon the suspension setup, the steering setups, and let's make it clear, like, especially on a Can-Am, like, you're going to fight the computer. Like, if you don't have the ability to get in, which nearly nobody does,
Right.
dude, you're making life very difficult for yourself. And to jump into that and not know that is, that's a little wild.
Well, and for a fair argument, side-by-sides, especially the Mavars and all these elite level side-by-side manufacturers are producing almost race-ready vehicles. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of extra frilly stuff on most of these, like stereos and stuff that you don't need in a race car. You know what I mean? Yeah. But at the end of the day, if you want to go buy a Mavar off the showroom floor, especially the new version, the Worx version,
the XRC,
the XRC, dude, it's pretty close. Like, you could go race that car.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
obviously a cage, but
yeah, I mean, that's what we're pre-running in, is an XRC. Right. So yeah, I mean, the car's got a cage and it has bolt-on parts, and she's out there running everything.
Right. Yeah. We've joked over the years that we all have a pre-runner. We all show up here on the desert with a pre-runner because we don't want to beat up our race cars in the rocks, running the rock trails. So we all go out in our pre-runners. Yeah. And we'll pre-run for days on end and beat the brakes off of these cars.
It's just destroyed.
And they never die, though. Like, no. It seems like the pre-runners always do really, really good. And then all of a sudden we get in the race car, 10 miles in, we have a problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, the pre-runner's always going to be a couple 100 pounds lighter too, because it doesn't have all the spare tires and everything else on it. So doesn't have all the extra bracing to make it a race car. And I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's such a weird, it's such a weird problem, because like we go out in these virtually stock cars with a roll cage on it and some harnesses to have our safety to pre-run, and then they just don't break. They just work really good and everything goes fine, and you're like, sick, this is going to be great. We're going to hop in the race car and it's going to be fresh and it's going to be great. And then, like, this stupid little thing, like, I know Kyle's in the past, many years ago has had fan issues and just little stupid stuff that takes them out. And it's like, why? We should have just drove the race car and found the problem first. But then you run the risk of beating up the race car and wearing out the heim joints and wearing all the stuff that you need on race day. So it's like a catch-22 every time.
Yeah, it's like you need to break the thing in, but you can't wear it out. Like, you need to scrub axles in, make sure that those things are not going to freaking catch on fire.
Right.
Yeah, it's
a fine line.
Yeah, even suspension tuning, like we were talking about earlier, we go out and we were, smashing big G-outs and holes in the thing, and it's the race car, and we're like, well, we got to make sure that we can hit stuff on race day, but it's like, at what point it's a very fine line of like, all right, we crossed it and now we've hurt ourselves.
Right. So you've hurt something, or maybe fractured something you didn't even know you fractured, and I know you guys have the best of the best working over there. I know Jeb works tirelessly on the race cars, and
him and Austin.
Yeah, him and Austin, they push hard over there and they go through those things with a fine-tooth comb. And you were telling me off camera earlier that Kyle, Cody, and Hunter are running the same car in side-by-side and 4400.
Yes.
So that's a testament.
Yeah, so they'll qualify. So they already qualified UTV. They'll qualify 4400 Wednesday evening. Yeah, and then we'll race Thursday morning UTV. So again, hopefully there's no issues after qualifying that's going to hurt us. It's going to hurt us for 12 hours later, 16 hours later. Yeah, but in terms of the chassis of switching things over, they've all got duplicate parts of everything. If we do build really good arms, we trust the suspension parts, but there is a point to where you just beat on a car so much that metal fatigue becomes a problem. Like, some things aren't worth keeping in a car, like a wearable, like a spindle pin, right? Like, you're not going to be like, I'm going to go race UTV and I'm going to keep a spindle pin in. Like, that's a wearable. But yeah, I mean, in terms of chassis and trying to prove that out, this is kind of like a third or fourth generation chassis. The cars that they ran last year, even though Kyle did incredibly well with it, we went back and we completely started over. Material thicknesses, material itself, processes, everything, it completely changed. Hunter had a mishap at qualifying in Vegas to Reno and tumbled a car at 80 miles an hour and tore suspension off of it, as you would expect if you go doing gymnastics in the desert. And he raced that car 2 days later and ran the whole race in it, and super good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a testament to your crew and yourself and your design team and all the people involved at CT Raceworks that put in the effort to make these chassis safe. I mean, at the end of the day, the most important part, and I'm not trying to speak for you, but I'm probably assuming, because for me it's the same, like, is driver safety,
For sure.
and passenger safety.
Yeah, that's ultimately it.
Yeah, you want these guys to be able to go out there and hit these trails at 100 and plus miles an hour, and be confident that if they do have a bad take, or like we were talking about that trophy truck just hitting a bad rut and tossing it over, that they will climb out of that car and dust off and they'll walk away,
Yeah, I mean, our cars are a little bit heavier this year. Wanted to make these things super strong everywhere. We changed a bunch of roof tube designs and everything else, triangulation through a lot of areas. And again, kind of the example of Cody tumbling over, we wanted to make sure that everybody is going to be okay, as much as they can be if something bad happens. So,
yeah. Well, hats off to you, sir. You guys are building some bad parts. I'll stand behind them all the time. I run them on all of it. I'm still an X3 guy. I still got all my X3s.
Yeah,
I
still
love
a good car.
They are a great car.
Yeah.
I like them because they're super light and nimble.
Oh yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Mavars are sweet. Top speed is wild. The suspension is crazy.
Big.
But they are big.
Okay.
They are big. So I'm really sticking to my guns on the nimble car for a little while. And I think I'm just gonna let you guys figure out all the problems first.
Yeah. There's that. It seems like we figure out problems, on like year 5 or 6, right when another model comes. Like with the X3, the last couple years of it, we finally got everything down, and then once the Mavar came out, we're like, damn, we got to start all over again, which is cool. It keeps the challenge coming. There's still I don't want to say there's bugs, but there's just refinement in areas.
Sure.
Just refinement, just to tweak things and get things right. We're still learning a lot of what things are doing. A lot of tweaking.
Gotcha. So a lot of people might not know, I think we probably mentioned it a few times, but you've got a pretty decent racing career too. You guys race a lot of desert.
I do.
Yeah.
Going back in time again. So 2009, started racing GNCC with my buddy Bill Zemak, which is who I run in the Unlimited 1 car with. We started that in 2009 in a Kawasaki Terex. This was fun times back then. Still is, but raced out in the desert in a Maverick Turbo. Then with Bill, we were a factory Polaris team. He was, I just built the cars and work on them and everything, but part of that. And we were that from 2016 to 2019. And then he jumped up into the Unlimited car. And I would do co-driving with stuff like I co-drove for Nathan Parker last year. Here we got second in Pro Mod, so we had a good run. I mean, I've been in the driver's seat for a good amount of years, and I've kind of resided over in the passenger side.
How do you like the passenger seat?
Man, driver and co-driver have to have a dynamic, and they have to have an understanding, and there has to be a comfort between both of them. And I tell that to a lot of people. I wouldn't jump in a car with just anybody, like dudes that come out here and like, they're like, oh, I need a co-driver, and they just jump in. I'm like, bro, you guys are crazy. Like, so, Bill, we joke around all the time with it, but the level of trust that we have between us is wild. We know we know what each other's going to do. And again, the comfort of, going 120, 130 mile an hour and trusting what somebody's going to do. It's a bit nerve wracking, but it's kind of funny. Like, we go into these like high speed sketchy sections. Like, we've gone in desert races completely blind at 90 miles an hour in UTVs, and I just giggle like a schoolgirl. It's the funniest thing ever. I guess I'm just a fool for the adrenaline rush, but it's the desert stuff's been a pretty solid 15 years probably. Wow. So yeah, it's been fun.
Very cool. It's fun to hear that backstory that maybe people don't know about you. They all see you at CT Raceworks, obviously, and creating the parts. So it's fun to hear that backstory and know that you've kind of been in the racing industry for a very long time and perfecting your parts for the industry.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the passion. Is the racing side of it is the passion. So I don't CT Raceworks as a whole, I don't make it out to like a lot of the trade shows and stuff like that. I'm just looking for the next race. I'm looking for the next competition. I want to make sure we're prepared. We're not showboaters. We don't we don't need to show off, do the glamour shots. It's just we want to go to races, stay humble, you know,
Win.
do well. Yeah, that's the goal, right? But you know, we want to do well and just continue to improve. That's it. So
Right on. Well, I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge supporter of CT Raceworks, and I really appreciate you coming on here. I'd love to have Daniel on at some point.
yeah, he's around here somewhere.
Yeah, I ran into him the other day.
Yeah.
He was like, I gotta get Alex on there, and I was like, oh, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We got a long week. If you got a long week, and I know you guys are super busy, so thank you very much for taking some time out of your day and stopping over here.
Yeah.
And again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of CT Raceworks this year and bringing the podcast kind of along for the ride. So
Yeah, thanks
it's
for having me
fun.
on here.
It's fun, and I really appreciate you. And good luck. If I don't see you guys before race day, which I'm sure I will, but good luck out there. Don't let Kyle go too crazy, but I know the dude could probably do all this by himself.
Yeah,
You know,
he can. The
So,
dude's a monster. I mean,
yeah.
he doesn't need me in there.
I've
but
been in the passenger seat with Kyle one time, and we had a stick come through the dash at a IXCR in Indiana. A tree. I shouldn't even say a stick. It was a tree that was attached, but it had been laid over. And he drove over it, and it came through the dash, ripped the entire dash of the car out, and stuck in the roll cage right above my head.
No way.
Yeah. Yep. It was scary. It was
Probably
very
kept
scary.
driving like nothing happened, right?
Well, we would have, but when we backed up, it pulled the entire wiring harness of the dash out the back side of the car, so we were done. But you know, we survived, and it's just a fun story I tell about Kyle and me, and that's the last time I rode with him. So, but it was no fault of his. It wasn't like he was doing anything dangerous that happened. It was just a freak accident, and I've seen that on other UTVs. But
it happens. Yeah.
I love all those guys, and I respect Kyle very much for his driving ability and just for him as a person, and you as well as a businessman, and coming up from the bottom as an entrepreneur and a race car driver. So appreciate you very much. Thanks for coming on the RD Off podcast here at King of the Hammers. Alex Reed, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. See you everybody later.